And welcome back to the Chris Salcedo Show. You're looking at a newly released image that shows an abandoned 2-year-old boy by the side of the road in Mexico. The image was captured by immigration officials after they raided a truck carrying more than 100 migrants from Central America. This, folks, is the Democrats' so-called compassionate border policy on full display. Joining me now to weigh in on this and a range of other topics is Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, thank you so much for being with us.
Tom, good to be with you.
This is just one of many instances where kids are being put through horrendous conditions by human traffickers. You know, we've heard from the president about the border. Kamala Harris sort of nominally went to the border last week. At this point, do you believe that President Biden and Democrats actually want to try and solve this problem, or are they content to allow this humanitarian crisis to continue to suit their political purposes?
Well, tragically, they have no solutions. And the reason for that is simple, which is that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have made promises to the radical left when it comes to immigration. And their promises were that they wouldn't enforce the border, that they would, in effect, allow open borders. And so this crisis was created by Joe Biden. This crisis was created by Kamala Harris, and they're unwilling to change the mistakes that caused it. You know, we're seeing over 500,000 people who have crossed illegally into this country just this year. We're on a pace to have over 2 million people cross illegally this year. That's right. You showed that young boy. This is a humanitarian crisis. Little children by the thousands are being trafficked in. They're being physically abused. They're being sexually abused. And the only answer that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have is to try to hide the problem, to try to cover it up, to try to keep media and reporters away. It's why Joe Biden has not gone to the border. It's why when Kamala Harris went to the border, she went to El Paso, a wonderful city, but 800 miles away from the epicenter of this crisis in the Rio Grande, because they don't have an answer. They don't want to solve it. And so their hope is that everyone will just look away and not mind the suffering that is resulting from their policies.
2 million people, that is larger than the populations of a dozen states just coming across that border this year. As you know, Senator, former President Trump joined Texas Governor Greg Abbott for a tour of the state's southern border yesterday. What stood out in your mind from his visit, and what are your thoughts on Texas taking matters into its own hands to secure its border?
Well, I'm always glad to see Texans leading, and Texas has been playing a leading role in securing the border and keeping us safe. We've had Texas Department of Public Safety officers down on the border for many years now. We have planes, we have ships that are helping secure the border, and Governor Abbott, the Texas legislature, are stepping up and devoting more resources. All of that is important. And, you know, I think yesterday, President Trump's visit to the state of Texas really underscored the difference between a successful immigration agenda and a catastrophic failure immigration agenda. You look at what President Trump did. He invested the resources, he invested in manpower, he invested in building the wall. But the most important thing he did is he negotiated an agreement with Mexico. It was called the Remain in Mexico Agreement. That was in 2019, the government of Mexico agreed to President Trump's demands that anyone who crossed illegally into Mexico would remain in Mexico while their asylum cases were pending in the United States. The result of that, last year in 2020, we had the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. It was an incredible success. So Joe Biden gets elected. What does he do? He halts construction of the wall. He reinstates the failed catch and release policy. And most inexplicably, he rips to shreds the Remain in Mexico agreement. And almost instantaneously, illegal immigration skyrockets. We now have the highest rate of illegal immigration in over 20 years. And the contrast yesterday with President Trump returning to the border could not be sharper between success and failure.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.